All right, good evening. Ordinances and introduction and first reading. Ordinance number 2024-17, an ordinance in the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, New Jersey, accepting a blanket sanitary sewer line easement and dedication of sewer improvements within Block 191.01, Lot 1, in the property known as Village of Stony Run. Can I get a motion for introduction?
So made. Second.
Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Approved.
Mayor Schmidt?
Approved. Publication date on that will be October 1, 2024, with a public hearing on October 10 of 2024. Ordinance number 2024-18, an ordinance in the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, New Jersey, accepting the dedication of a sanitary sewer easement and existing improvements within Block 195, Lot 2.01, known as the Route 73 Bowling Center. Can I get a motion for introduction?
So made.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call, please, Terry.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Approved.
Mayor Schmidt?
Approved. Publication date for that will also be October 1, 2024, and the public hearing on October 10 of 2024. This is a public portion for the consent agenda. Is there any members of the audience wishing to address council in reference to the consent agenda? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, consent agenda. Resolution 2024-R-159. Amend contract with Booth Mechanical, Inc. for the 2021 valve replacement project and approve a final change order as a decrease. Resolution 2024-R-160. Award contract to Bott Electric for the Collins Lane Park project in the amount of $79,950. Resolution 2024-R-161. Authorization between Maple Shade Board of Education and the Township of Maple Shade to provide a school resource officer. Resolution 2024-R-162, authorizing a shared services agreement between Maple Shade Board of Ed and the Township of Maple Shade for Class 3 officer services. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Roll
Yes.
call, please. No, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Good.
The two to the Board of Education, is that additional or replacement?
It's just renewals.
Oh, renewals.
Yep,
Okay.
renewals.
Any other comments? Roll call, please, Terry.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Approved.
Mayor Schmidt?
Approved. Approval of expenditures list. Susan?
Thank you. Current fund bill is $392,870.96. Utility fund bill is $225,790.65. Capital fund is $251,943.75. Utility capital is $161,028. Trust fund, $296,225.16, and our grant fund bill is $182,675.67. I've reviewed the above bill list as submitted and recommend payment when funds are available.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call, please, Terry.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Approved.
Mayor Schmidt?
Approved. This is the public portion of our meeting. Is there anyone from the public that would like to come up and speak with council?
I guess it's me.
It's you. You know the routine.
Good morning.
Name and address, please.
Joanne Mortimer, 39 Lancey Road.
How are you?
Good. I'm very good this evening. I was just wondering if there's been any progress, further discussion on closing the road for the holiday festival this year.
Yes, we're waiting on Main Street Maple Shade to tell us whether or not their original offer of offering $3,000 towards the cost is going to be accepted. If it is, then council has agreed that we would close the roadway and use 2024's
Okay, so
funds.
you'll take a vote on that tonight?
No, but there's no vote. I'm just waiting. Once we hear from Main Street, I think Diane's coming up. Once we hear.
I emailed you yesterday.
Okay, yeah, I didn't receive it.
Option two.
Right, no, I know option 2 was the but you're going to still contribute $3,000 then?
Yes.
There we go. Okay, so the next meeting, we will have a road closure on for the road, for the
Okay,
festival.
now we're, as long
Thank
as
you.
we're talking the 3,000, I would like the general public to know that we're actually paying 7,000. Okay, correct?
Well, not technically, well,
Yes.
yeah, not, okay, we can say it that way, but the township, yes, is the 4,000 that the township would typically give to you for the, towards the cost of the festival is going to be used towards that. You were able to get the receipts in for 2023, which you'll be getting a check that's cut with this
Okay.
bill list, so.
Okay, and, we're happy to do that for the township. We're very happy to do it, and we're also very happy to announce that we're offering another grant program for our businesses along Main Street. So if you know any of the businesses, if you're close to them, they've been going around seeing the businesses, but please encourage them to go onto our website to apply for another grant.
And what does the money have to be used for with the grant?
Well, what we're trying to do is we would like things to be visual like we did last time. I know a lot of the other grants we did was maybe for new signage, perhaps for new window displays, something that's very visible to the community to spark up, our looks along the Main Street community.
We want to, spiff it up if they need a paint job, if we want to try and make it more charming for whatever their ideas happen to be to make their own place more charming. So,
What's your address again?
my address?
Yeah.
1120 North, Diane Hackett. Of course.
If you have something as far as the
1120
grant
North
goes,
Maple, huh?
I'm sorry, if you have something as far as the grant goes, we'd be happy to put it out in our newsletter and then obviously put it out.
Okay, great.
Very nice.
I'll email you that tomorrow.
I know some of our other recipients, based on the time of the year, they also spend it like to put a couple tables outside. And that's what we're looking for too, visibility along Main Street.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public
So
portion?
made.
All in favor? Staff and professional comments. I'm going to change it up. Start with Councilwoman News. Just to throw you a loop. You were late, I forgot. Really stick it to you. Not late, but later than normal.
Well, the leaves are starting to fall, as you noticed, so I guess just remember to keep them off the curb, because it really messes up our storm drains. So that's one thing. I know it's already starting, so I'm not thrilled myself, because it's a daily battle. So just we'll keep you posted as to when the leaves are going to start to be picked up. I know it's September, but it's already starting. I see them on the lawn. And that's all I have, and happy fall.
Thank you. Councilwoman Volpe?
I have nothing, other than I have to clean my gutters now.
Yeah, that too.
Tony, did you hear that? You gotta clean our gutters.
Tony, clean your mother's gutters. Councilman Kaufman, excuse me, I'm having a tough evening for some reason.
Let me reiterate the leave issue because it does cause a problem if we ever get rain. They do cause them to back up, and so please don't put them into the street until it's time for your pickup. And pickup don't start till sometime in October.
Yep, we just finished up the flyer, so that'll be going around the newsletter next
Yeah.
week.
So, the other thing is just a little FYI, Maple Shade Rotary will be doing a fundraiser in the month of November, where we will be inviting East Coast Wrestling to come in and perform at Maple Shade High School. It'll be a fundraiser to do the things that we do mainly with the schools. So more to come on that. Look for that in October, and it should be hopefully a pretty good fundraiser for us. Remember last year we did the basketball. Well, this year we're going to do wrestling. So more to come on that.
Regular or Jello?
Mud.
Jello
Regular.
is fun.
My, how we have
See, I saved
No
the best.
chairs
I
or
don't
tables,
get it
so
with it.
just regular.
digressed.
Thank you, Mayor, that's all.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
I can't follow that. Well, I will tell you, this is probably the most brief comments that I've had in a couple of years. Last Saturday was the second annual Pizza Fest held at the Olden Cafe. Special thank goes out to Bill Lindsay and his family, especially his daughters. They were designated in charge of security, and they did a great job because there were no problems. The DJ was phenomenal, and announcing by Tony Egner made it very enjoyable. Thank you to all the pizza providers. It was a gorgeous weather day, and it was well attended. Last Tuesday evening's BEDC was packed full of new and interesting ideas for Maple Shade, thanks to Jen. So we all had plenty of homework to take with us. We'll see how that turns out. Sunday, October 6th, next Sunday, not 2 days from now, 11 to 2 will be the annual Touch-A-Truck at the parking lot behind Tacanelli's on Brubaker Lane. Bring the kids out, there will be plenty to see, touch, and some to get into. This event is sponsored by Citizens Bank right here in Maple Shade and organized by our Recreation Department. Thank you, Lauren. That's all I have to say, Mayor.
Well, thank you.
Certainly.
And I have absolutely nothing to add to that, so that'll be even better. Old business, operations, Sue?
I don't mean to correct you, but were you going to mention something about signage we discussed?
I knew it was coming up sooner. Give me a second, I'm sorry. I do have that written down somewhere.
He's overwhelmed.
See, I wrote my notes and I closed my phone. That was my biggest mistake.
Terry, here, a paper and pencil.
Easy there, lady. I'm trying to stay up with the kids.
She's on
Claire's on fire tonight.
All right, what I wanted to read was an ordinance in regard to signage. We're having an issue already, multiple political signs on people's lawns. Under Code 2205-65H, political signs are limited to 1 on a single lot or 2 on a corner lot, and they're only permitted prior to the election 30 days, 1 month. So October 5th this year is the first time we can put out any political signs. We've already had complaints. DPW and code enforcement are actively removing signs from right-of-ways, and violations will be issued for repeat offenders. Additionally, those residents who have multiple signs and are not in accordance will also receive notice of violations. These efforts are in response to a multitude of complaints being called into our code department. So we're just trying to keep everyone on the up and up and make sure all the residents understand it is 30 days, 1 per property and 2 for a corner property. So
Just to piggyback off of that too, I know today code enforcement had taken close to, I think he took 7 signs today, and DPW on average is collecting anywhere between 20 and 25 signs a week.
On public.
And that's not just
on
political
the
signs.
road.
It's not just,
any
that's all
signs,
signs,
right,
right,
yes,
just
yes.
in public right-of-ways,
Right.
along, I know 73. We've reached out to, there's that I buy mattress guy, or I sell mattress guy. We've reached out to him and told him that he will be fined. So it's just they
Junk.
wind up, it's junk. It's junk. So if we can just keep an eye on that, it keeps our code enforcement and DPW guys happy too.
absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, now with that being said, operations.
Now I'll go. Thank you. Just a couple of things. We're asking our residents to please be mindful of all of our recycling rules and regulations. Council, I know I had shared that with you last week. It's mandatory that residents recycle, and just some helpful reminders about recycling include there should be no styrofoam in your blue bins. Use only your blue bin that's issued by the county. Metal cans only. That excludes paint and aerosol cans. No yard waste can be in there. No syringes. No plastic bags. Those plastic bags come up here. We do it here for sustainable. They can, and clean communities will collect those. The recyclables also should not be put in plastic bags and put in the
How do they
blue
get into
bins.
plastic bags? Because nobody gives them out anymore.
No, they're those recycle bags, like the clear plastic recycling bags, is what lots of our residents are doing now.
Oh,
And they're putting-
really?
Yeah, they're putting those, they cannot take them, they cannot go through the process
Right,
at,
no plastic, right.
at the machine
Other
at
than
the
bottles
county.
and plastic milk containers.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this up, because Maple Shade is below the county average of 236 pounds per 6 months for curbside recycling collection at single-family homes, so we fall below the average. And we're also below the average of 110 pounds every 6 months for collection in our multifamily homes. So we are below the county average
By a lot?
for collection. What's this?
By a lot or just a little?
In our multifamily homes, we're about 50% less than what the average town in the county is doing. And on our single-family homes, we are, it's enough, we're probably about 10% lower. And it's an issue. Recycling we want to do, obviously, we do get recycling trust monies from that as well. So the more we recycle, the better we are. But it is
Is that caps on or caps off?
caps off, so that's caps on, I'm sorry,
Caps
caps
on,
on. So these little brochures we have, well, not little ones, everyone should have received one of these. We do have these up here as well. We're going to be putting it back in our newsletter. There's the Recycle Coach app. So there are a lot of tools for recycling, but we are going to be putting a push out to recycle. And I know that there's, again, we do plastic bags. Heck, we're recycling Halloween costumes too now, and we're going to be doing the balloon. Heather, are we definitely doing the balloon? Were we able to get that? Okay. So we're going to be doing your latex balloon recycling and all of that as well.
Nice.
So just we want to get our numbers up.
And if I'm correct, obviously recycling costs us less to get rid of than normal trash, correct?
Correctly,
So
right, and
something that's
especially
going
now.
in the trash that's not going in the recycle bin is actually costing us more.
Yeah, and right now we're making, the county is making money off of some of those recyclings with recyclables. So, and it helps, again, when I file the recycling trust report, in April next year, it's based on our tonnage. So recycle, recycle, recycle.
It does keep our taxes down countywide also, so it does help.
That we
across
don't
the
have to
county.
collect it,
Right.
absolutely, absolutely. So there's going to be a big push, we're going to be putting a big push out in our apartment complexes and condominium complexes. Those, I've already spoken with the hauler there and our Max consultant who will be working on that for us as well. DPW has been working in several different areas of town, filling potholes, and they're going to be making some small roadway repairs. So the residents will be seeing that in the next couple weeks. This evening, you've just awarded the Collins Lane lighting project, so we're going to look to set our pre-construction meeting and get that project underway in the next few weeks. That's being fully funded by a project, by a grant project of $125,000 that we had received from the county. So that will be a nice new addition to Collins Lane Park. We'll have some low-level lighting there. Our recreation director is looking for participants and organizations to participate in the annual Halloween parade. So we are calling all organizations and groups who may be interested in participating to please reach out to Lauren. Our parade is being held on Saturday, October 26th. And then just to do a brief overview on our department head reports for and through the month of August. Our tax collector has reported a collection rate of 1.27% higher than the same period last year. So today we have receipts totaling $31,107,728 and some change. Our construction department has reported that our permit fee collection for this year is up just about 2%, even though our inspections for the year are down approximately 15%. So we again, and I reported this a couple months ago, where people are coming in for permits, they're not calling in for the inspection. And we encourage, please call in for the inspection and your final inspections, because if we go out and we find out it's not, then there's a bigger issue, that it hasn't been inspected. That's that one. EMS has responded to 2,272 calls through August 31st. That's 9.5 calls per day on average, and an overall increase of approximately 13% over the same period last year. Year to date, our fire marshal's office has realized $18,899 in local revenue. State rebates, we've received $26,147.94, and we have a total of $45,025 in penalties that they have had to go out and issue. They've completed 364 inspections to date, and we are approximately 90% complete in our transition from the state LEA to the Maple Shade LEA. On the fire department side of things, there have been 280 incidents, 5 working fires, 1 extrication, 21 public education events that they've attended, 9 investigations, and currently we have 30 active personnel, which does include our officers, and we have 3 individuals that are pending appointments. And lastly, Chief Kerr has reported that we have met the minimum requirements of the State of New Jersey Division of Fire Safety, POSH, NIMS, and NFPA standards for issued standard operating guidelines and procedures. And that's all I have for my reports. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Now you get to follow up on that, Dennis.
Okay, I'll just give you a brief update on, if I can stay brief, on various projects ongoing in the township. I'm going to start with the water wastewater projects. At the wastewater plant, there's 3 screw pumps that are the main feed into the plant, and we had issues with the bearings, and they were very loud and was affecting residents. We completed the replacement of the first 2 here this last month, and then we're authorized to move with the pump 3, so we'll be putting that out to bid and hopefully get the same team, but the project went very well overall. The chlorine contact tank, if you've seen how the structure looked before we started, that we've already did the inner and outer channel. We are starting next week with the inner channel where we have to actually do some bypassing the effluent around dechlorination and so forth. But we're dealing with NJDEP enforcement. They're aware of some of the challenges we're dealing with that, but it's really a nice looking improvement when we get done with that. Main Street force main, we had another break down there, Fork Landing Road. That whole force main that goes from Main Street all the way across to the Park Avenue water plant still remains an issue. We ordered a contractor, Earl Construction, who's going to be starting shortly. We're doing the submittals. They're going to be putting in the meter vault and a bypass at the pump station, and they're going to be going down Route 73 towards the railroad bridge. The future phase then will continue from there, but we've had 2 or 3 breaks in that section in the last 2 years, and it gets problematic when you're out there right on Route 73. So that project should be going to construction this fall. Well 12, you authorized me to go out there and do a service of the well pump and motor. Unfortunately, today the well started pumping sand and it jammed up the pump. So now we're sort of in an emergency situation. So I'm going to have to come back and do an emergency contract for that. I'm meeting AC Schulte's out there on Monday. They were out there a little bit today. But we're going to pull the well pump and motor and then televise it to see if we can find out what the source of sand is. Now that well's only 20 years old, so a well should last 75 years with no problem. So I'm just hoping it's just a displacement in the gravel pack down in the screen area that we can do with some redevelopment, but I'll keep you posted. We were going to replace the pump motor and the pump itself anyway, so those improvements would have been a cost. I will work out and getting prices and get an emergency contract in place for that work. Windsor Bypass, someday we want to replace that station. They got metal cans. We did emergency repair there because the metal's like rusting through, and if you know where it's at, it's like in a drainage easement between 2 homes. So we were able to put a bypass in there this summer, and now we have a means that if that station would go down for any reason, we can throw a pump in there and connect to a manhole and keep the sewer flowing in that region. Rose Avenue water main, we're going to be bidding that in October. County Road was the first phase. We've had a lot of breaks in both Rose and County, and so they became high target areas for water main replacements. County should be being repaid in the next month or so. We're looking at some drainage improvements, so we're trying to work out. The one intersection was really in a bad situation. You have water flow issues because there are no inlets there, but we're really limited in what we can do. So that's Andy's job to come up with a solution. So,
Yeah, that street's a mess. I drive in there every day. It's a mess.
as far as the Kings Highway water plant, we have the congressional grant, so we're eventually going to want to move forward with utilizing that, probably to bring wells 9 and 10 up to service, and we're also in the process of purchasing the additional land we need because the existing plant's in a floodplain, and it would really restrict us what we can do there in the future. But we really do need that plant back in service at some point in the future because the Main Street plant's starting to get a little age to it now. And some of the new regulations coming out with 1,4-dioxane and just the PFAS and so forth. We don't have issues. We're in compliance with everything. But we're always, as they keep dropping the limits, you get closer and closer to being non-compliant. But right now, we're certainly meeting all regs and even the proposed regs, but we're right there at the limit. Now, unfortunately, because of that, all this PFAS money is being paid out by all these lawsuits by DuPont, 3M, and so forth. It's going to be only well 8A probably would qualify. So I don't know where that's going. We've been submitting all those grant applications. We don't use well 88 a lot, so, when we show our pumpage, and the reason we don't use it a lot is over at the Main Street Water Plant, we have 3 wells, all 1,250 gallons a minute. Wells 11 and 12 are in the lower PRM, and the water quality is better there. So when you're pumping out of the middle PRM, you're getting like 18 parts per million of iron. So it takes a lot more cost to treat that water. So obviously we utilize the source that's a little bit better, but we need it as firm capacity. Like well 12 goes down, if we ever need the second well now, we at least have well 8A to operate. So that's a little bit of the strategy there. I know the operations wants us to replace the lime system. That's one of the capital projects you'll see coming shortly. It's been a maintenance issue for them for the last 20 years, and so if you go and look at that lime room and see the electrical and stuff in there, we want to move some of the electrical panels, do some ventilation improvements, and just overall improvements to that system. So that's one of the projects that's on the capital for next year. So that's it for the water wastewater side of things. From the township side, we awarded a contract for the food bank. Some of the improvements are, and we're reviewing the shop drawings. We're trying to work, the timing's not very good because the grant that we have has to be used by February, and obviously in November, December are like big food distribution days. So we are working, the contractor seems to work with us and Susan to just come up with the logistics of how we can keep that going. I know they deferred their demolition start to try to work with us the best they can. But again, they still have that February timeline to be completed. So the logistics are all being talked about and worked through.
And they have been worked out. So we have a full plan, and
Okay.
I already spoke with the food bank. We'll be set to go. So there will just move operations to that front area room like we had discussed.
Yeah.
So we're good.
There's an issue with the Flanagan's with an easement for storm sewer, but there needs to be an agreement. So I don't know if this is the place to talk about it, but at some point in time, we need to come up with that agreement for what they're proposing to do out there and conditions.
Yeah, I think we did take that off the agenda just because we
Okay.
don't have all our Ts
Yeah.
crossed and Is dotted.
Yeah, I'll be glad to
We're
talk
ready
to you
to-
about it, and then obviously we have to make decisions on that.
I think we're ready to, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're ready to
you
do
can
that
go ahead and,
this evening if you,
This
if
evening
you're,
if you're ready.
if you're not prepared yet, Dennis, I understand.
Yeah,
You haven't had a chance.
I would be prepared, and or Annie, both of us are prepared. So their legal description needed a little work, but they have an easement from their neighboring property to go across. Right now, there's overland flow going to a township storm basin. So what they're proposing to do won't increase the amount of water going to the basin, but the basin needs some maintenance. They're going to be putting a head wall there, and they're going to be hard piping from their property across the neighboring property into that. I think they probably should add a manhole, and there should be delineation between what they own and what we own, so we can work that out. And then, obviously, they should probably bond their work. And I would like them to do a little bit more, maybe it is our responsibility to go in there and maintain that basin, but we have a lot of basins to maintain. So if they're going to allow them to do this, maybe we can get some kind of agreement that they go in there and do some cleanup in that basin, just to get it functioning, looking better when they put the head wall in there. But I don't see any downside. You eliminate erosion and so forth when you're actually piping in there. They're going to be doing paving improvements to their parking lot, which I'm sure they're doing with the planning board, the site plan. So I think it's a positive, but there does need to be an agreement drafted on allowing them to do that. But I think we can ask for certain conditions.
So the residents know the property we're speaking about is off of Collins, and the Rotary Drive is where the basin is. So
Yeah. And
kind of
then,
like police and fire credit
So-
union there.
I guess, were you done about Flanagan's?
Yes.
So I guess tonight,
Basin fire.
memorialize to be able to, or memorialize at the next meeting?
Yeah.
That
I
agreement?
can, we can give you a few terms that we would want to see condition-wise that, for an agreement.
Produce Junction.
Okay, so we'll get those.
Produce Junction, Sandy. Produce Junction.
Yeah, we just have to flesh some of that out. Thank you.
Okay.
Isn't that Waverly?
Yeah, it's Willow. It's off of
Oh,
Willow.
Willow.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I said Collins, it's
I thought
Willow.
you said Collins.
They front on Willow, but then the basin's out the,
To the
Okay.
Rotary, yeah.
I apologize, yes.
Okay, Beverly, that's what I thought.
and then as far as the road program, we'll probably be bidding at East Front Alexander. I think we have to, with the grants and stuff, we want to have something bid for by November. Now, there's 2 funding sources, so we're trying to work out so we can maximize the funds for the project. So that's the one hurdle that's keeping us from putting out the bid. We need to get the approvals from both of these funding
That's
agencies.
East Front, what was the other street?
Alexander.
The
And we're thinking of maybe
Part that we
doing
haven't
one
done.
with the one grant and the other with the other grant, but we need to talk to them about the logistics of that.
Sure,
2 separate roadways. East Front is the one that's forked to Stiles,
correct.
and then Alexander's.
Unless there's questions, that wraps up what I have.
Sure, it all makes perfect sense to me.
Thank you.
Nothing, thank you, Dick.
All right. Thank you, sir. Deputy Mayor, kick it over to site plan.
There was no site plan since last meeting, and the next site plan is October 1st. And I got the agenda already, and it's full.
Busy, yes.
So it'll be a busy site plan.
Fantastic. Thank you. New business, small business bash in November.
Yeah, I just wanted to give some exciting news. As part of the BEDC meeting, Jen had introduced a small biz bash that's going to be held on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Jen's working, it's going to be an event that includes all businesses in the township that day to encourage Shop Small Saturday. So just wanted people to know that that's coming, to please get ready, watch what's going on. There'll be discounts. We're asking some of our business owners how they're going to get involved is, again, to entice people to come and shop. If you shop in one store, you might get 10% off, and we're trying to put together like a happy hour and maybe a breakfast hour to be able to get all of our businesses, that can.
What's the date?
November
The date is
30th.
Yeah, the 30th after Thanksgiving. So, it's just an exciting event that the BEDC is putting together as far as, our businesses go. Jen went, she walked every business almost, right? Handed it out, had a great response from all the businesses. They're looking forward to getting, to be a part of it. And it's just going to be something that's really going to draw people not only to our downtown area, but also to our outlying businesses as we kick off the holiday season. So it should be a huge success. We're looking forward to it. And then the other new business that I have is, as you know, we've started the mural application process. We've been working with Clean Communities. They have their storm drain mural application, so a little bit different, trying to just make sure that it all falls into our ordinance. In front of you is a copy of the storm drain mural application. We do have our first one. This is someone that's already adopted a storm drain. They're looking to put a mural there. You all, like I said, I know that you all have the application with a picture of it. The last process of it is once Clean Communities looks at it and says yes, it goes along with their program. Jen looks at it from the mural, being in charge of the murals and the mural ordinance in town. Then it needs to come to council, and council needs to say yes, no. I mean, part of that process is just so that we don't have a drain mural on every single corner, every single drain. We're trying to space it out. The goal of the program is education.
Call attention.
So again, there has to be some sort of educational component, but this is the first one. I know that Clean Communities has, they have partnered with an artist in town. Is it Heather, is it the art teacher?
She's not for this one.
Not for this one? Okay. All right, so we do have different people that are helping, but this is it, and if the council is okay with it, then we can give the clear go-ahead that it can start. And obviously, again, we're going to make sure that things get coordinated, that we have the coordinates of the drain locations, so.
In the same paint as last time, non-toxic,
Absolutely.
everything's copacetic.
Yes, yeah.
We were actually just using the leftover paint from.
Oh, great,
from the
good.
school project.
Waste
Yeah.
not, want not.
So, but again, it is something that falls under Clean Communities. We're good if we need more paint, obviously, we can purchase it, so. But yeah, it's the start of the arts. I know that Clean Communities and Sustainable, you're working on a full art program to bring arts into the community, so this is just the start of the wall art. Hopefully,
Okay.
we're hoping.
Okay.
We're hoping.
One step at a time.
So yes, so
Well,
if
no, I'm
council
just
is okay.
saying, that wasn't forgotten, so.
Yeah, so if council is okay with this, so Clean Communities go ahead and they can give the go-ahead.
Absolutely. Do we need to take a vote on that, or just?
Just to memorialize it, that's fine.
That's
Just
fine,
let me
yeah.
know
All right,
that you've looked at it and we're good.
All is well. All is well.
And that's all for new business.
Fantastic. Anyone else have any comments they'd like to bring up? Council, no reason to go back into closed, correct?
No, sir.
Fantastic. So with that being said, I'm going to look for a motion to adjourn to the next town council meeting, which is scheduled for October 10, 2024 at 6:30 PM.
You have it.